With us now is Harley Lippman, a foreign policy expert and political analyst. Harley, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for making time for us. What does Maduro's capture and criminal charges mean globally on the world stage?
Many things. It means one is that President Trump will enforce the laws of the United States in terms of narco-terrorism and do what he has to do. This is a guy who doesn't bluff. A lot of people see Trump as someone with a lot of bravado, but he's for real, will act on it. Second, it shows the enormous effectiveness of the U.S. military. The U.S. military is by far the most powerful in the world. And think about it, they took this action, limited action, no American casualties, and incredibly effective in getting this couple without harming them out of the country. It takes enormous logistic intelligence and effectiveness to do this so well. It really is a brilliant undertaking. So I think that's the second message. And the third message, I suspect, is to countries like Iran. And Trump made it explicit that you have to stop killing your peaceful demonstrators, because if you don't, Trump says he's going to do something about it. And now the Iranians have to pause and think, Trump may really mean it. We may have to rethink our strategy here in Iran.
What do you make of the responses from various world leaders, Russia, Colombia, Cuba, all strongly coming out against the U.S. strikes, while Argentina's president is praising it?
Well, of course, who criticizes it? It's countries that are our adversaries, right. Russia, China, Cuba, and they're afraid that something like that could happen to themselves. So, of course, they don't like it. Also, because it's a huge setback for that axis of evil, for lack of a better word. Those countries do everything they can to undermine the United States and do everything they can to hurt President Trump. So the fact that they've lost a key ally in Venezuela is a huge strategic setback for Iran in particular, Cuba, China, and Russia. And it's a big move ahead for the United States. I think it's a wonderful outcome. If I may say, I'm so proud of this president because he's doing what makes me feel good as an American. He's helping people, really helping people. The Venezuelan people live in poverty. They had an election a year ago. They won that election. There was a democracy. A woman ran against Maduro and she won. And then Maduro overthrew her and put in a dictatorship. So this is a really good thing. It is really rescuing people. So I think this is the best of America.
Does this create a power vacuum in Venezuela and South America as a whole?
I don't think so. Everything is left intact. Even Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that, if I understood it correctly, there's going to be no more action. The United States did not take this as a military action. So this was an action of law enforcement. So I don't think it's going to upset the government. I think things will continue, but I think that you're going to have a groundswell of feelings to create a real democracy, either have a new election or bring back the woman who was legitimately elected a year ago.
You touched on this a moment ago, Harley, but I think it's so important to see the implications on the world stage internationally. What kind of message does the removal of Maduro speak to adversaries like Iran, Russia, China?
That Trump means business, that you really do get peace through strength. This is what matters. I like to give historical analogies. You know, in 1939, if the world came to the aid of Poland and stopped Germany, 60 million people would have been alive. 60 million people died in World War II, and it was preventable. So taking military action, however regrettable that loss of life occurs, actually creates peace. And I think what happens so often is we hear military action and we cringe and go, oh no, another war. It's not going to be another war. It's not Afghanistan. It's not Iraq. It's not Libya. Those countries didn't have democracy. You had radical jihadists that come in from all over the world to help those countries fight against America. You're not going to have that in Venezuela. You don't have that there. So I think the message is that, you know, the rule of law matters, democracy matters, people have a right to determine their own destiny, and America will support people that are looking for real liberation.
President Trump will be addressing the nation and the world at 11 a.m. We know the world is watching. What do you expect to hear from him, Harley?
I think he's going to explain why he did it, that this is about narco terrorism. We all remember this happened in Panama 35 years ago, and Panama's a thriving nation today. Uh, Democratically elected governments, strong economy, a good ally of the United States, a good outcome. Everybody thinks when the United States gets involved in some action with Latin America, South American nation, that it's bad for the people and bad for the world. This is actually a good outcome for the people and good for the world. So I think, unless people are just so anti US and knee jerk with criticism, I think most people in the light of day are going to see this as a very positive development, and it's going to enhance the policies of President Trump, which is really designed to create peace in places all over the world.
Harley Lippman, we appreciate your analysis this morning. It's been a busy morning, and we really do appreciate you coming on. Thank you.